The ball slices through the air like lightning, spinning fast, hitting the table with a sharp crack. The crowd holds its breath, eyes locked on the two players locked in battle. Each return is faster, sharper, more daring than the last. It is not just a game of ping pong anymore. It feels like a war of nerves, a test of who can stand the longest without breaking. Every sound of the paddle against the ball echoes like a drumbeat of tension. This is not just practice. This is the Chosen Showdown. The question is simple but heavy. Who will claim the table and who will walk away defeated? In this first section, the match begins with energy that feels almost alive. The players stand across from each other, paddles ready, their eyes never leaving the ball. The first serve comes like a spark, the ball flying low and fast, and it is returned with equal force. From that moment, the pace is set. Neither player wants to give ground. The ball moves side to side, bouncing like it has a mind of its own. The sound grows louder, faster, sharper, as though the table itself is part of the fight. The first player is all about precision. Every shot is placed like it has been measured with care, angles sharp, edges perfect, never wasting a single move. The second player is different. Power pours out of every swing, the kind that makes the ball almost blur to the eye. Their style is raw, risky, and full of strength. The clash between these two styles creates not just a rally, but a storm. It is control against chaos, order against force. The audience does not know where to look because both sides seem unstoppable. What starts as a warm-up quickly becomes something more. Every strike is harder than the one before, and every return feels like a dare. The air is heavy with pressure, like the match is already at its breaking point, though it has just begun. You can almost feel the sweat, the burning focus, the silent promise that this game will not be won easily. Each point feels like a story of its own, a fight between patience and fire. The scoreboard moves slowly, but the energy of the game rushes ahead like a river, fast and unstoppable. The crowd watches as the two players settle into their rhythm, but even rhythm here feels like a trap. Every time one gains the edge, the other pulls back, refusing to be pushed aside. Shots skim the edge of the table, some almost flying off, some kissing the surface so lightly it feels like the ball is teasing both sides. The game is not about the points yet. It is about the message. It is about saying to the opponent, "I will not fall first." The first section ends with a rally that seems to stretch forever, each strike testing not only the body but the will. You can hear the echo of the ball long after it hits. You can see the players tighten their grip, plant their feet, dig into the moment. No one wants to blink. No one wants to give the point away. The tension builds to the point where the ball hangs in the air, and then the screen cuts, leaving the outcome hidden for just a beat longer, holding the audience at the edge of their seats. The ball scrapes the edge of the paddle and spins wildly back across the table. Gasps ripple through the room. For a heartbeat, it looks like the rally will end, but the player dives, stretches, and somehow saves it. The crowd erupts. This is not a casual game anymore. This is survival. The tension rises with every bounce. You can almost hear the silence between the strikes, the pause before the storm breaks again. What began as a warm-up has grown into a clash where mistakes are forbidden. Both players know it. Every point is a wound. Every save is a lifeline. The second section of the battle is where the fire truly catches. The first player, sharp and calculating, starts to push the pace. Every shot is placed with surgical precision, finding the corners, forcing the opponent to run. The other player, wild with power, answers back with a force that shakes the table. When they strike, the ball rockets forward like it has been shot out of a cannon. The sound it makes is not the light tap of ping pong anymore. It is a crack that cuts through the air. Their styles collide like two storms, each one refusing to give way. Now the rallies stretch longer. What once lasted 5 or 6 hits now goes on for 20, even 30. Each exchange is faster than the last, the ball whipping across the table like a blur. The players move with an instinct that looks almost inhuman. Paddles flashing, feet sliding, bodies bending at impossible angles just to keep the ball alive. This is no longer about who can hit harder. It is about who can last longer, who can push themselves past the edge without breaking, and the cracks begin to show. Sweat drips onto the floor. Breathing grows heavier. Muscles strain under the pressure. The precision player starts to wobble just slightly as the power player hammers the ball again and again. But then, in the very next rally, the power player overreaches, slamming the ball so hard it flies just beyond the table. The crowd gasps again. The scoreboard stays close, locked in a tie. Because for every mistake there is a redemption. For every edge there is a counter. The tension in the room builds like a storm cloud. Every cheer from the crowd feels louder, every silence more crushing. Time itself seems to stretch during these rallies. Seconds feel like minutes. The ball is no longer just bouncing. It is carrying the hopes of two fighters who refuse to bend. Both players dig deeper, fighting the fatigue, fighting the nerves, fighting the thought that the next mistake might be the one that costs everything. The second section closes with a rally unlike any before. The ball darts across the table faster than eyes can follow, the sound of paddles clashing echoing like a drumbeat. At last, one player unleashes a strike so sharp it slices the very edge of the table. The crowd leaps to its feet. The point is won, but the match is far from over. Instead, it has only lit the fuse. The battle is about to burn even hotter. The lights feel hotter now, though no one has touched the switches. The sound of the crowd has dimmed into a low hum, like the world is holding its breath. Both players stand ready, paddles gripped tighter than before, eyes sharper, movements smaller, coiled like springs. This is not the warm-up anymore. This is not just testing limits. This is the beginning of the real fight. The moment where the game becomes something greater. Every strike from here will not just count on the scoreboard, it will carve into memory. Section 3 opens with the serve. A ball spinning with so much spin it seems to curve through the air like a trick of the eye. The precision player takes it, angles perfectly, and fires it back. But the power player has been waiting. They step in, feet pounding against the floor, unleashing a return that shakes the table. The ball screams across the net, so fast it looks like it could split the air. Somehow, impossibly, it is caught. The rally begins, and it is unlike any before. The table becomes a battlefield. Shots skim so close to the edge that even the referee leans forward in disbelief. Each paddle swing is not just about hitting, it is about surviving. The rhythm of the game changes. No longer the steady beat of back and forth. Now it is broken, sharp, jagged. Attack, counterattack, retreat, strike again. The players are not just playing. They are hunting, waiting for the single slip that will open the door to victory. The crowd can feel it too. No one is shifting in their seats anymore. Every eye is locked on the ball, every ear tuned to the sharp crack of paddle and table. The score inches higher, the tension climbing with it. Each time one player gains a lead, the other claws it back. No one is willing to be left behind. It feels less like a game of ping pong and more like two warriors locked in a duel. Their weapons thin wooden paddles, but their will unbreakable. Fatigue is creeping in now, but it does not slow them. It drives them. Muscles burn, lungs ache, but still they strike, faster and faster, as if the fire inside them refuses to die. Every bead of sweat is proof of the battle. Every heavy breath, a reminder that the body can only go so far. But the will goes further. The precision player bends low, nearly touching the floor to send the ball back. The power player leaps, arms swinging down like a hammer, smashing the ball toward the corner. The sound of each clash is thunder in a small room. And then, in the middle of this storm, something happens. For the first time, the ball slows. The players exchange a softer rally, almost delicate, like two swordsmen lowering their blades for just a moment. But it is only a trick, a pause before the strike. The power player suddenly slams the ball. The precision player answers with a slice so sharp, the ball spins back with impossible force. The crowd explodes. The scoreboard shows only 1 point gained, but everyone knows what it truly means. The showdown has begun, and neither side intends to lose. The table shakes under the weight of the battle. The ball has become a blur, and the sound of paddle against rubber no longer feels like a game. It feels like cannon fire. The tension in the room is heavy, pressing down like a storm about to break. This is where the match tilts into dangerous ground. The breaking point, Both players have gone beyond comfort, beyond rhythm, beyond the safe plays that brought them here. Now every shot is a risk, every move a gamble, and the cost of a mistake has never been higher. The scoreboard climbs point by point, each number like a nail hammered deeper into suspense. The rallies stretch longer, not because of safety, but because of desperation. Neither side will let go. Balls scrape the very corners of the table, saved by miracles, caught by reactions faster than thought. One moment, the precision player seems unstoppable, dancing across the table like every step was rehearsed. The next, the power player slams a ball so hard it nearly dents the wood. The crowd cannot breathe. The game is balancing on a thread, and everyone feels it could snap at any second. The air itself feels alive. You can hear every breath, every squeak of shoes against the floor, every crack of the ball like thunder in a cage. Sweat drips not only from the players but from the tension in the room. The audience leans forward unconsciously, as if moving closer could give them control of the outcome. No one cheers mid-rally anymore. No one dares. Each exchange is too fragile, too sacred, as though even a sound might break it. This section is where the players stop being athletes and turn into something else. Warriors, survivors. The precision player starts to take risks, cutting the ball sharper, closer to the net than ever before. The power player, refusing to bend, digs deeper, pulling strength from somewhere hidden, somewhere primal. Their shots grow heavier, fueled not by skill alone but by sheer willpower. It is no longer just a test of talent. It is a test of heart, and then it happens. A rally so long it feels endless, so fast it is barely visible. The ball whips back and forth, smashing, slicing, bouncing like it is alive. Feet slam, paddles whip, the crowd trembles. The final strike of the rally lands with a sound that echoes like an explosion. One player drops their paddle in disbelief. The other raises a fist, gasping for breath, eyes burning with fire. The breaking point has arrived. The game will never be the same again. The match has now entered a place beyond reason. The scoreboard may show numbers, but no one cares about numbers anymore. What matters is survival. What matters is pride. The players are no longer just standing across a table. They are standing across a battlefield. Every swing, every strike, every desperate save is a declaration of war. The crowd is no longer watching a game of ping pong. They are witnessing a duel, a clash at the very peak of intensity. This is the moment where the game reaches its highest point, the showdown's peak. The first rally of this section begins with silence, the ball tossed high into the air. Time slows. Everyone leans forward. Then the serve comes down like a lightning bolt. The ball explodes off the table, flying faster than the eye can follow. The rally ignites instantly. The precision player, battered but unbroken, fights with an elegance that hides their exhaustion. Each return is like a blade slicing through the air, sharp and merciless. Across the table, the power player swings with such force that every strike seems destined to end the match. The two styles clash in a way that feels impossible to sustain. The pace climbs higher than before. What seemed fast earlier now feels slow compared to this. The ball rockets back and forth like a storm contained inside four corners. The table is too small for the violence being unleashed upon it. Each point feels like the last, each rally like a finale, yet somehow they continue, refusing to let the other win. The players' bodies are screaming, but their willpower has turned louder than the pain. They move as if their legs are made of fire, their arms of steel, every muscle committed to one goal: not to fall first. The crowd is lost in the chaos. Some shout, some scream, some can only clutch the edge of their seats in disbelief. The energy of the room has become a roar, feeding the players, pushing them into realms they did not know they could reach. The match is no longer about skill alone. It is about something deeper, a drive born from the refusal to surrender. Sweat drips into eyes, stings against skin, but no one blinks. The precision player bends so low their paddle nearly scrapes the ground, sending the ball back with the thinnest slice imaginable. The power player leaps forward, smashing the return with the weight of a hammer. The ball ricochets off the table's edge, saved only by reflexes so fast they seem inhuman. The rally continues, relentless, merciless, breathtaking. And then comes the moment of pure theater. The ball is struck high, soaring into the air, hanging above the table like the climax of a story. Both players prepare. The crowd gasps. The sound cuts to silence. When the ball crashes back down, it sparks a rally unlike any before. A storm of speed and fire that feels endless. Finally, one strike breaks through. The ball slams into the corner, spinning out of reach. The crowd explodes in cheers and disbelief. One player falls to their knees, drained. The other lets out a roar that shakes the hall. This is not just a game anymore. This is legend being written in real time. The showdown has reached its highest peak, and yet, impossibly, it is still not over. The final chapter waits, and both warriors know it. The room feels smaller now, as if the walls have closed in around the table. The air is thick, almost solid, filled with the weight of what is about to happen. Every eye is locked on the players. Every heartbeat seems to echo in unison. The scoreboard shows the truth. Just 1 point will decide it. The decisive moment has arrived. What comes next will crown a winner and leave the other in the silence of defeat. The serve begins slowly, a ritual of breath and focus. The precision player wipes their hand against their shirt, steadies their grip, and tosses the ball. It rises, turns, falls. The paddle meets it with a clean strike. The match is alive again. The power player answers instantly, their paddle swinging like a hammer, but this time the precision player is ready. The rally begins, and the ball transforms into fire. Each bounce is louder, sharper, as if the table itself knows this is the last it will endure. The players fight with everything they have left. The precision player bends low, sending slices that kiss the edge of the net. The power player slams back with a fury that shakes the floorboards. Sweat is dripping freely now. Hands are trembling, but neither player lets go. The rally builds and builds, a storm of speed and sound. Every return is a miracle. Every save an act of will. The crowd can no longer stay seated. Some stand, some shout. Others cover their mouths, unable to breathe. The ball scrapes the table's corner, spinning wildly. The precision player stretches, reaching far beyond balance, somehow bringing it back. The crowd erupts, but the rally does not end. The power player charges, smashing again, faster, harder, desperate to break through. The table groans under the impact, but still the ball returns. It is no longer a contest of skill. It is a contest of heart, of who will bend first, of who will shatter. Time bends inside this rally. Seconds feel endless. The players no longer look human. They look like shadows locked in motion, silhouettes of will and fire. The ball darts, twists, leaps, and still no one falls. The crowd is screaming now, their voices blending into one endless roar. And then it happens. A single shot so sharp, so sudden, that it cuts through the storm. The ball smashes into the far corner, spinning just beyond reach. The room explodes. One player dives but cannot reach it. The ball rolls away, silent, final. The crowd erupts in thunderous cheers, the sound shaking the walls. One player drops their paddle and covers their face in disbelief. The other raises both arms to the sky, gasping for breath, tears mixing with sweat, triumphant yet broken from the effort. The decisive moment is done. The winner has been chosen. The echoes of that final strike linger in the air long after the sound fades. The battle is over, but the memory has been carved forever. The ball has stopped moving, yet its echo still lingers in every corner of the room. The match is over. The players stand on opposite sides of the table, their bodies heavy, their lungs pulling for air, their sweat dripping like proof of war. One is victorious, their arms raised high, their name now etched into the memory of the crowd. The other, though defeated, stands with head bowed but unbroken, because in battles like these, even in loss, there is glory. The crowd surges to its feet, their cheers crashing like waves. They have witnessed something far greater than a game of ping pong. They have seen resilience, fire, and the refusal to break. The scoreboard may declare a winner, but the story told here tonight belongs to both. Every strike, every dive, every breathless save has built a legend that will be remembered long after the paddles are put down. Slowly, the noise fades, leaving only the image of two players, one crowned, one humbled, both transformed. The table stands silent now, scarred by the storm, but it too carries the memory. The match has ended, but the spirit of it hangs heavy in the air. And so, another battle closes. The Chosen Showdown has claimed its victor, but the war is far from finished. Somewhere, another challenger waits. Another table waits. Another storm waits. The crowd, the players, the world itself will ask the same question again. Who will step forward? Who will rise? And who will fall? As the scene fades, the final voice cuts through with quiet weight. One line, steady and clear. This was only the beginning.